One of the most difficult things for a new parent to do is to interpret the signals a baby will give to communicate why they're crying. But it's better to catch these cues before they start to cry so you can be proactive in taking care of their needs. And this will many times avert the crying episode altogether. There are 5 basic reasons a baby will cry, and here they are: hunger, fatigue or overstimulation, boredom, physical discomfort, and emotional needs or wants. So in order to figure out why your baby is crying, you can look for the following signals. If they are hungry, they will stick their tongue in and out of their mouth, root toward your breast or a bottle, or put their hand near their mouth as if they're trying to eat something. If it's been a couple of hours or more since their last feeding and you see these kinds of actions, go ahead and feed them before they start to cry to be fed. And be sure you allow them to burp after a feeding so they don't start crying from a bubble being in their tummy. When a baby is tired, they will commonly yawn, have unfocused eyes, show a lack of interest in the people or things around them, suck their fingers, rub their eyes or ears, blink more frequently, and generally be irritable at any kind of stimuli that requires their attention. Sometimes a baby will start crying because they are really very tired and the person who's trying to help them stop crying is actually just overstimulating them more. It's like if you were tired and someone is keeping you awake. That's uncomfortable, isn't it? Too much activity for a long period of time, too many people holding them and trying to get their attention, and too much noise can cause a baby to cry instead of falling asleep because of overstimulation and fatigue. So if it's been about an hour or so since their last sleep session, or if you see they are overstimulated and starting to fuss, it's best to lay them down in a quiet place for a nap. But if they have been fed and already had their nap, they may be just bored. Babies can be bored just like adults can be. Some cues that they are bored can be kicking their feet around and flailing their arms even when a toy is right in front of them, looking away disinterested from whatever you expect to take their interest, squirming and crying. If you see these cues, a change of venue from laying on the blanket to sitting in a springy chair with a different view or a different set of toys may do the trick. Try to switch out their toys and their view every so often throughout the day, so that will avoid them becoming bored with their surroundings. So if your baby has been fed, recently napped, and has had a change of venue, it could be that their crying is due to physical discomfort. The first thing to check is their diaper to see if it needs to be changed. And as you check their diaper, also put your hand inside of their clothing on their chest and tummy to check the temperature of their skin. If they're overly hot or cold, you'll be able to determine if they need to have fewer or more layers to regulate their temperature. If they feel overly hot to the touch, you also want to take their temperature to see if they have a fever. But sometimes it's just a matter of too many layers which are causing them to be overheated. Of course, if they have a fever or you get the distinct feeling that there is something not right with them physically, you definitely need to take them to a health professional to check out what's going on. If your baby is excessively rubbing or tugging their ear and crying, you also want to check to see if they have an ear infection. Ear infections can cause discomfort, fever, and loss of appetite and are very common in children under 3 years old. You can also check other reasons for discomfort, including straps on the seat that they're sitting in being too tight, or an item being under them that you didn't notice when you put them in the bed or in their seat or on a blanket. So just do a quick general check around to make sure nothing is poking them. If you've checked all these things and your baby is still crying, it could be due to an emotional issue. This means that they may want your attention and are crying in order to signal this to you. Now, all babies cry. It is a part of their development and is not always a reason to worry or take action to stop it. This is the time when you need to determine whether or not they are seeking attention that is due them, or if they are seeking undue attention. Normal children do both, and that's okay. But you as a parent will want to know whether their demand for attention is a need or a want. If you realize you have been very busy and ignoring them, you should take some time to talk to them, laugh, sing, or play. But it's best not to get to the point where they're crying for this, because you don't want them to learn to fuss in order to get your attention. Be sure you're giving them plenty of attention without their demanding it, so this is not an issue. Of course, if it is a need, you must take immediate action to take care of it. Wants and needs are two different things. So in order to know when it is necessary to attend to their crying with more action and when it is better to allow them to cry for a little while, click on the next video. If you try all this and you still feel you need more help, you can schedule a private consultation with me at my website, mommyanswerlady.com. Parents, you can do this. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you here next time.